Hi, friends. I am here at my little Quaker meeting house in West Branch, Iowa. Just filmed um, a live meeting for worship with Pastor Sue and Jim Glasson and myself, and weaving some songs in with some prayers and a beautiful message about integrity. And it really inspired me to take this moment to have a little memorial time for Dad, for Roy Wayne Stacks. It was supposed to be his memorial today, and we were going to memorialize, celebrate his life. Mother always referred to it as, and it was going to be amazing, and may still. And I think truth is his song lives on, and his memorial was the last 2.5 weeks of his life, or 2 weeks of his life. The last couple of days he was sedated, but he had a glorious 2 weeks. I mean, if we could all have a death that beautiful, it was really wonderful. He was surrounded by his nuclear family that he grew up in, and his nuclear family that he co-created, and then just a steady stream of people coming in and letting him know how much he loved them, or they loved him, and that he loved them, and the impact that that love exchange had on their lives. So it was really beautiful. He got to be there for his memorial. So it's kind of perfect. Kept it for his own, but we were going to invite folks to have choir practice at 9 a.m. and learn, work on the Hallelujah Chorus. Share just 2 songs that we did a lot in those last 2 weeks that I sang to him a lot. So, and then the last one is the one hymn that he definitely said that he wanted. So I figured I'd share those. So here we go. The first one, I didn't usually play on the piano, so I won't now. In me rise when song gives way to sighing, when hope within me dies. I draw the closer to him. With love he sets me free. His eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. His eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Let not your heart be troubled. His tender words I hear, and resting in his goodness, I lose my doubt and fear. I draw the closer to him. With love he sets me free. His eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. His eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free, for his eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Why do I feel discouraged? And why do the shadows come? Why does my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home, when Jesus is my fortress, a constant friend is he. Eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free, for his eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free, for his eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. was really meaningful to be able to give him the comfort that he gave me, growing up, and able to hold him in that time, and other people that held him. Carrie was so present and wonderful, and Jeff came back a couple times, and Randy stayed longer, and his sister stayed over, spending nights just making sure that he wasn't alone. And the theme that we heard, most often was how much love, how generously he loved, how he taught people to love, how he just showered people in love, and how much he really celebrated the uniqueness that we all are. We got a text message from one of his youth, who now is certainly not a youth, older than me, and the two of them came up and spent the day, and they're about Randy's age, and so one of Dad's ministry was his youth ministry, and so to have three of his youth dudes hanging out was real special, and one of them sent me a story about having a real rough time with his dad, who was not honoring this storyteller's creativity. And so real down on himself, real down on Dad, real down on possibilities in life. And he went to my father and shared that with him. And Dad said, well, don't you think Da Vinci, I think, conjured up Da Vinci? And, what if they told him not to be curious and creative in his pursuits? And Father really honored people as they were. I remember one time he came to Chicago. He had this extra ticket on Southwest he needed to use, so he and Mother decided to send Dad out to be with me and Scott in Chicago, and we were producing the Scooty and JoJo show. And we had Diva Brunch, where they turned this sort of sports bar restaurant into Miss Piggy's dressing room. Wonderful. Thank you, Justine and Brian, for that bit of magic. And then we would host as sort of Captain and Tennille, Sonny, and Cher, with the Muppets mixed in. And then we'd have three diva guests, and everyone would be enjoying some very luxuriant and decadent brunches. And so Father was coming, and I always saying when I would come visit him. And so I was like, well, you got to be in my show, Dad. And so he agreed. And then I looked at the guest list, and I was like, oh no, oh gosh. Okay. So we've got two cabaret performers, a female and female impersonator singing, and then a burlesque troupe. So the burlesque troupe performed, and I said, gosh, I'm sure glad my Southern Baptist minister father didn't see this one. And then from the back of the room, he said, Jonathan Shane Stacks. And I was like, Papa, can you hear me? And he was like, of course I can hear you. I'm standing right here. And so we gave it up for Roy Wayne Stacks. And he came and brought a song from a Broadway musical that I think went Our Walk with God. And so it was beautiful. He came into this space where we were with Broadway musical, and brought his message that he wanted to bring. And it was a message of love and security and confidence. And it was what Jesus did, is not just spend time with sort of like-minded folks, but to go about and around and across all kinds of boundaries and difference and love and be in communion with folks. And Roy Wayne Stacks did it. But the things that catch us up right now, of you this, so you must be this. They just got to experience a wonderful, loving, and gracious man. So the next one is a song that's really meaningful to me, of spending time, in that solitude and quiet with God, which I know Roy Wayne Stacks spent a lot of time doing, and certainly in those 2.5 weeks, he was very content, resting in God's presence. And the third verse, which I discovered is not in a lot of hymnals, but the Southern Baptists have it in theirs. So actually, this is my Grandma Ruth's hymnal. So Little Broadman, which may not be Southern Baptist, but anyway, I've lost my one from I think it was the 60s. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to do this, and I'm leaving this. I thought I would take this little place so you don't need to watch me. I'm not the thing that matters. But leave an empty pulpit, and then the empty handbell table in honor of Roy Wayne Stacks and all his wonderful ministries. Sweet hour of prayer that calms me from the world of care and gives me at my Father's throne. May my thoughts of vision in seasons of distress and grief, my soul has often found relief. And obviously, the tempest clear my life returns me now. And since he bids me seek his face, believe his word and trust his grace, what has on him my every day I wait for things we not sweetheart, friend, may I thy consolation share. So from those tears, this body I don't take my place. This world of flesh and lights to see the everlasting lights and shout my blessing through the air. Farewell, sweetheart. Well, the sirens are going off in town, maybe for Wayne, in honor of Wayne. I don't know. I forget what the repeating one is. I thought that was a tornado one, but it's sunny outside, which actually is maybe the point. So we'll go, and then if I get a sense that I should act, I will. You know, it was, I love that final verse of this robe of flesh. Okay, it's dying down. This robe of flesh. When I get sight of that home, and no longer do I need this robe of flesh, I'll drop it and I'll rise to seize the other everlasting prize. Which I don't know about the prize thing, but shout while passing through the air, farewell, farewell, sweet hour of prayer, because we won't need that anymore, right? And that sweet hour of prayer is the time to find serenity, to find peace, to find our unique connection to God. And so I love that visual. You know, the time of him getting ready to leave, you know, it was a couple days in and he was ready to go, and it lasted another 2 weeks, which none of us expected. And we ended up sort of being companions to him as he was sitting in the train station with his little trench coat and his little fedora, sitting on his little bag, waiting for his train bound for glory, or the Angel Express, his mother kept calling it. And the last few days I was like, he's here, right here. But it was beautiful to get to sit with them and then to have the parade of folks coming and sharing. And there was only one time that he got upset, and we had just woken up. It was Tuesday, so it was about a week and a day into it, and a lot of folks had to go back home and spent the night with him. And in the morning, sunrise, we would have devotionals together, and that was really precious. And during one of those, he got a little bit upset, and he kind of started to cry, and he said, you know, I'm sorry that I let what they taught me to believe get in the way of loving you the way that I wanted to. And I thought that was so beautiful. It was an amazing gift that he gave to me. And it was an amazing gift I gave to myself because I didn't need that. I was going to be content, right? I was here to be present for his passing and to honor everything that he had given me and who he was as a person. And yet he gave me that gift, and that was a real blessing. And I think, if there's anything that I'd like to say that we can learn from Roy Wayne Stacks, it's that love needs to trump beliefs. And I think one of the ways that we are broken right now is the disconnection that we have by prioritizing belief over love. Hymns that I'm singing, but they matter to someone. So let them matter to someone, and find out what matters to them. Find the ways that this brings them joy and meaning. And so then, and you may not believe in what someone else is saying, but you can learn what their beliefs mean to them, to learn more about them. And I think that is a real human-centered approach to relationship that I think Roy Wayne Stacks has taught me, is let people be people and spend the time, instead of sorting through what I think about you or who you are, or what you believe. I just want to get to know you. I want to be there with you. Especially, as humans, and the struggles that we have and the joys that we have. And he was always, and Mother was always there for so many people's joys and celebrations and sadnesses and fears and scary times. And I want to offer that as well. And I think we could do that for each other, that we're having this shared experience of terror. And I think that we could love first. So I'm going to end with the one hymn that he definitely said that he wanted. And I was looking forward to working with a choir and having those, big sounds coming up. But anyway, we'll end with How Great Thou Art. How Great Thou Art. When I lost wonder, consider my hands have been. I hope they see long. I see the stars. I hear the thunder the universe display. Then sings my soul, my Savior, unto thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, unto thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Out of false waves I wander, and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees. When I look down from the clouds and hear them and feel the gentle breeze, then sings my soul, my Savior, not to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, not to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God has done not spare me, since him to die my sins to take it. That on the cross Sings my song, I sing about thee. How great how great thou art. Then sings my song, I sing unto thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Well, that key change sure got it high there. Well, thanks for being here, if you're still here, for the memorial. And I look forward to celebrating Wayne Stacks's life as we continue on. My friend Lily sent some beautiful songs from, I think, Threshold, which is a hospice choir. And her mother sings with this women's choir. And there was a song that said, your song will live on, that you will be on our breath. And my father said, I think my song is going to live on. And I do hope it does, because he had a beautiful song to sing everywhere that he went in wonderful, beautiful ways. And he was a really, really lovely, lovely, lovely man, and will be very, very missed. So thank you. Thank you for Roy Wayne Stacks, for your diligence, for your integrity, for your generosity of love. And thank you, God, for giving us Wayne. Yeah. Peace.